Good morning to everyone. So we're here to talk about some editing basics, specifically with using Shotcut program. Did everyone get their stuff downloaded who we're going to?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So you've got the files that I took pictures of a book and I recorded myself reading them. I'm gonna run through that as a simple way to show you how to do a lot of the stuff. And you do use a lot of the same techniques in any kind of programming you were putting together. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll walk through it, actually making the video. I kept it at a small number because I want you guys just to be able to kind of, shout out as we go along. If you have questions, feel free to, unmute and just ask anything, ask for clarification or to show you something again is totally fine. All right, here we go. All right, everyone seeing my screen? Okay, so this is what this Shotcut screen that you see when you open it up. Here I have all the recent projects I've done, so yours will be empty for now, but I'm sure you'll get it all filled up soon. And the first thing you want to do to start your project is insert a project name right here under New Project. And I'm going to call this one, what is the book? Wheels on the Fire Truck. Wheels on the Fire Truck. And then you click on the Start button right here. And you're ready to go. Can I see everybody? No, maybe. Ah, there we go. Okay, good. All right, so the first thing we need to do if we're going to edit is we need things to edit, right? So we need to upload them into our system. And the way you do that is up here in this menu, playlist is where you would have everything. So you click on that, and then you want to open a file. And this is where you select the file wherever you saved all those documents. Wheels on the Fire Truck, and you can just select them all at the same time and open. Obviously, the more files you upload, the longer it may take. All right, so we've got all of our images here and then all of our audio clips. If you've edited anything before, you should be familiar with the timeline, and it's going to go down here, but right now it doesn't show up because we don't have anything in it. So you can do that a couple of ways. You can click here and track operations, add a track, but you can also just click and drag your first thing down there. And it sets up the track for you. So this will be to your preference how you choose to edit things. I found when doing these kinds of videos, it's easier to put my audio down first because I'll be adjusting that and maybe shortening some clips. And it's easy to do that first and then add the video on top of it rather than add your video and then have to adjust both of them. And so these are in order of page number. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop them all down here on the track. And again, that's just click and drag. Okay, I'm going to pause here and make sure everyone's up to that point. See if you have any questions.
Why are you doing the audio separate from the video? I don't know if that's a silly question or not, but.
Because in this instance, I took pictures of the book pages
Okay,
and then recorded my audio separately. So
okay,
they are, in this case, two different files. If you're just recording yourself reading or something, they wouldn't be separate.
all right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. You can also, if you're ever not sure what your clip is, you can just double click and it'll show in the play screen here. The Wheels on the Fire Truck by Jeffrey Burke, illustrated. And that plays it for you. So the next thing I want to do is to go into my clip and trim them down where I want them. You want to make sure you're on the clip that you want. You click into the black bar that's just above it, and that selects it, and it kind of turns dark blue when you select it. Come on. And really what that's doing is moving this white thing right here that's called a playhead, which, I mean, you can grab and scrub along as well. So we'll click on this first one. And we can even, if you want to see it closer, this right here makes it bigger so that you can see more closely. And you see the bars here, and that's the audio level. So you can see here, there's no talking, and then there's like a brief space, and then the end, there's no talking again. So what I'm going to do is trim it down so there's not this blank space. Again, you can do this a couple of ways. You can do it up here in the play screen, but there's a super easy way to do it is to just click on the edge, and you see like the little green, I'll show you on this end, and that one's a little red thing shows up. That means if you click on it, you'll have the edge of that. And you can just drag it back. And that just clips the end of it right off. Super easy. I'm going to do it at the beginning here. And then because it's no longer at the beginning, I just slide it right down. And then we're going to do that same thing with all the clips. You don't want to cut it too close because we're going to be putting transitions in between the pictures, and you need a couple of seconds for that to happen.
Cara, are you able to separate the audio from a video? Like if I have a video, can I separate my audio out of it so that they're two separate things?
I don't know that you could separate them necessarily, but if you say had a video of yourself talking and you wanted to layer a different video or pictures over it, you can do that.
Okay.
And there are some controls over here on the left where you can lock or make it so you don't see certain things. So you could totally turn the video off on a clip and just use the audio of that.
I see. Okay.
And I will tell you, I don't know how to do absolutely everything in this. Sure, you can tell it's not the most user-friendly software. It's not immediately obvious how to do things, even if you are familiar with editing. Come back over. Whoops. You definitely don't want to overlap them. That can happen sometimes. Well, there may be instances where you do want to overlap them. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay. All right, so we've got all of our audio here. And there are a couple of tricks if you want to go back to the beginning of this, just to see how it's working. You can either click, this part to get the playhead back here, or you also can click Alt and your left arrow, and it takes it back to the beginning of each clip. So if we were at the end, you'd have to hit it like 5 or 6 times to get to the very beginning. But now you're there, and you can hit the space bar. And not here. Let's see. Oh, they put it on a video track. That's interesting. Okay, so we're going to add an audio track and just pull it all down. That's interesting. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. All right, so we've got our audio set. Now we're going to do our images. So I just took them with my cell phone camera, and this is where we're going to do all of our editing, our adjusting of the videos and the images. So normally they'd be called something different, like transitions or edits or something. Here they call them filters. Anything you want to change about a video is a filter. And so while I'm in this image, I'm going down here where are these little things, and you click on filters. And you want to add a filter. And there are a bazillion filters, so you can do all kinds of stuff. These are the favorites, the one you're going to use most often. There's also a ton. These are all video filters, and there are audio filters as well. So you can get really creative. But so what we need to do with this obviously is rotate it and make sure it's going to fit our screen. So to rotate it, you go to size, position, and rotate. And again, there are a couple of ways to do this, and you'll just end up doing it whichever way is more comfortable for you. It's probably difficult to see in my screen, but it created this line with 2 dots on each end on the image. And one of them is to move it vertically or horizontally, and the other is to rotate it. So you can do it that way. Whoops, no, I got the wrong one. Now it's making me look like a liar. Huh. Anyway, so the other way, which we're going to do now, is to actually change the rotation. And I have discovered when you've got one this way, it's 270 degrees to get it the right way. And then this one, you can, if you've got a wheel on your mouse, you can just turn it to make it bigger or smaller. Or again, you can make the adjustment over here on the left-hand side. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna make sure we're at the beginning and drag him down on top of our first audio clip. And because I want this clip to match up perfectly with audio, we're going to extend this until the end of the line. Let's pause here and make sure everyone's caught up and take some questions. No questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I just dragged it on and it did an overwrite function. So should I have dragged all the audio down like you did?
Yeah, if it was on a video track, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. I didn't realize it would think it was a video track, but So you may
Okay, so
want
you can
to,
tell for it being on the, if it's on the top, it's the video track.
it says, and let's see, scroll all the way up. Right over here, it's a little bit off my screen, but it says B1, so that's video 1, and this was A1, so audio 1.
Okay, thank
And
you.
you can also make this area bigger. You just have to find the line where it, there we go. So it's easier to see.
How do you get just an audio track? Like where's the option to insert a new layer or whatever?
So it's this, oh my gosh, what is the word for that? Oh, it's a menu, but in track operations, you can add, insert, or remove.
Okay, thank you.
Kara, what's the advantage of using this instead of iMovie?
There's not an advantage. It's just a different system. If you don't have a Mac, obviously you can't access iMovie. iMovie is a lot more user friendly.
I think so too. Yeah.
It is, yeah, for sure. I don't have a Mac, so I don't have access to iMovie, but
Okay.
yeah, if that's working for you, stick with iMovie for sure.
Okay. I was just curious because it does seem a little more complicated, but I thought perhaps it had other special things you could do.
I think it probably has more functionality, but for any videos that I imagine you all would be making, you wouldn't need that extra stuff.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm gonna go back to our playlist and grab our next one, which is the Siren on the Fire Truck. And I always make sure I still have the books. I want to verify I'm getting it in the right order. And see, that's not the right order. The first one is The Wheels on the Fire Truck Go Round and Round. So let's find that one. There we go. All right. So again, we're going to turn this one. So go to Filters, Rotate, on 270. Now, obviously, this one we're going to want to make it bigger. So I'm going to roll in until I'm pretty happy with it. That's too far. And I want it a little bit tighter than that. So this is the general area that I want it, but I'm going to go back over here into the zoom. And it's at 48%. So I'm going to try 50 and see how that looks. Ooh. 50. Wow. What is happening? Not 400. Oh gosh. 50. I'm having a weird delay on my computer for some reason. So that's better. You don't see the edges on the sides anymore, and you can see all the text in the picture. So I'm happy with that. We'll drag it down. And it does say overwrite like this every time you drag something down. It doesn't mean you're putting it over anything. You're just overwriting it onto the track. And it says the same thing if you were to lay it down over, actually over. Okay, and that one's a little bit longer, so we're going to shorten it. All right, and the next page is the Siren on the Fire Truck. So back to that first one. Filter, add, rotation, 270. And this one's very tiny. Not quite there. Let's try 51, and that's good. Drag down onto the timeline. And this one we need to stretch about twice its size. Is this making sense to everyone? Good, good, good. All right, next page. The riders on the fire truck. That's that one. Filter. rotate. Once you get this down, you can really kind of fly through. It's sort of repetitive. This one's a little wonky because I couldn't get the pages to lie completely flat. So I think I'm gonna put it a little bit bigger if I can to try and get rid of some of that. You can also crop if you want to. So I could like pull it down and try to get rid of that with keeping most of the image. And I see a little bit of brown on the side here. And just hit. Okay, and then go, whoop. Oh geez. That's the wrong one. The good thing is if you accidentally click out of it, it keeps your edits so you don't have to go back and do those again. And if you ever want to adjust your filter, they'll remain here on the top. So that's our rotation and that's our crop. And you can always like turn them off and it will go back to how it was if you wanted. And I think I'm going to make him just a smidge bigger. That looks pretty good to me. And done him. All right, we got a few more. Playlist. The lights on the fire truck. That's the one. And you can see my chair underneath there where I took pictures. So we're going to rotate again. 270. Anytime now. Don't be frozen. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. Let's okay. So it did it. It just didn't change on the screen for some reason. So we're gonna go back and make them bigger. Because there's so much around, I do want to crop this one down a bit. So I'm adding the filter crop. This is a rectangular. You can also crop in a circular shape. That's under the video transitions. And so this, just pull it in so tight to where you want it. That's pretty good. And I go back into the rotation to see how big it is. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. And because the top is starting to get cut off, I'm gonna pull it down a smidge. And back out. You're basically just trying to center it as much as you can. All right, I'm good with that. Put it down. And extend it. Okay, playlist, and the next one is the ladder on the fire truck. Filter, rotate, 270. I think it's being a little wonky because I'm sharing my screen, but so last time we just clicked out and clicked back into it and it worked, and now it's reload. Okay. I don't know why it's being so glitchy. I swear it doesn't do this when I'm using it normally. So back into the filter and we'll finish what we were doing. This should be good if we can move it down a little. Now it's gonna bug me, so I am gonna crop that bottom. Although I'm sure nobody watching your video would notice. All right, so. Any questions coming up? Does all make sense? Good, 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 good. The next page is the hose on the fire truck.
Do you record your video using, I mean, your audio using your phone also?
No, I used you absolutely could. I used an online thing that I found. I'll show it to you after we're done with Shotcut. But you can, I mean, I really just Googled you know, audio recorder online or whatever. You can probably, your computer probably also has some options for just recording your audio. See, this one looks a little wonky because I was trying to flatten it and I accidentally cracked the binding on this workbook. So I tried to tape it back together. Luckily it's mine, so it's fine. And come on. And can't really edit a straight line because it's a little crooked on the top and the bottom. You'd be cutting picture off. I'm just going to leave that how it is. All right, and we're down to our last clip. The wheels on the fire truck again. Hey, it worked this time. I'm gonna put it up just a smidge. It's cutting off a little character here on the edge, but I think I'm okay with that, so I'm gonna do that. And this one just needs to be shortened a smidge. All right, and we've got everything on the timeline. I would recommend at this point, making sure you save just in case. And the next thing we want to do is put in some transitions between, and you don't necessarily always want transitions. It's depending on what you're doing. But right now, if we watch the wheels on the fire truck. So it cuts straight from one image to the other. And in this situation, I prefer to do fades in between so it goes to black for a second before it comes back into the other picture. And so these are more filters. So again, you're going to make sure you're on the right clip. And we're going to add a new filter, and that fade out video. And this comes up as 1 second. You can make it as short or as long as you like. I think 1 second is pretty good. So in this one, we're going to actually fade in and out. So fade in video. I prefer it at a second, so I'm going to change that. And then we're also going to fade out video. And we're just going to keep doing this to all of the clips. Fade in video, and you can see there, you also be able to fade the audio if you wanted to. If you had music saying, say, before or after something, you could fade that in and out so it's not so jarring. You can also do this as you're putting the clips in. I just prefer to do it afterwards, but again, that'll be something you'll figure out what works best for you. All right, and that's the last one. And now I'm just going to play the very end here to see if I want to change anything. And I think that's fine. Sometimes I've noticed when you play it back in, it may mess up the audio, like you heard there skipping a little bit. That's a weird thing with the system. It sounds fine when you export it. It's not putting that into the video that way. So we've got a whole video here. The next thing I would do is watch the whole thing through. I'm not going to do that. Or make you guys sit there through that, but you can do that on your end. And what I'm looking for when I do that is making sure there's no weird sounds, like if I cut it in the wrong place, or making sure the transitions look okay, that there's enough video on either side that it doesn't like cut into you talking or anything. Just for anything that looks weird. And at this point, I'm happy with it. So the next thing I want to do is export it. And you will see export up here in this top menu, almost at the very end. Looks like a little DVD or CD. You will see a bajillion options here on the left-hand side for how to export it. The simplest way is just to pick YouTube, and that automatically has the functions in it that YouTube prefers. And that video, you can put it anywhere. It won't just go on YouTube. It puts it out as I think an MP4 video, so that you can put that anywhere. So that's good. I want it YouTube. I don't need to mess with anything else. I'm just going to go ahead and click export file. And it's going to save in my videos folder, which is where I want it. So you can put it on your desktop or anywhere. And it will appear up here in your left-hand corner. And it shows you what percentage it has that it's doing on export. I assume it's going to start at some point here. Must be a bad Wi-Fi day. So that will start, and you'll notice this the Shotcut in your tray will also turn green as it goes, so you can kind of visually watch it as it finishes uploading. So questions, comments, anything? Ooh, 1%, yay.
I did leave a comment in the chat, just from Kelly's question from way earlier. I didn't know if that could be a solution for trying to split just the audio from the video file. So.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, actually, that reminds me. Anytime you want to do something that you're not sure how to do, just look it up on YouTube. There's a video for how to do everything in Shotcut. So just Google how to crop a video in Shotcut, and there are more than one video on there, so they show you how to do everything. So once you've learned the basics, and you want to start looking into what else it can do, you can just look through like all the filters if you don't know what something means and you want to see what it looks like. Just Google that.
Kara, when you, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yep.
When you, if you can go back one step, when you were saving it or exporting it, how did you choose where you were saving it to?
It's, can I pause this?
Did
Yeah.
it give you options there that I missed?
Yes. Yep. Oh, it doesn't stop a currently running job. Okay. So once you go to export and you select that and you click on export file here,
Yeah.
that's when it brings up your computer and you can
Okay.
choose anywhere that you want to put it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I was wondering if you've ever played with doing a intro screen of some sort, like a title page.
Yes. Uh, I have found the easiest way to do that is to create it in like Canva or whatever program you want to make the image in. And then you just upload it as a picture and plunk it right onto the timeline. You can put text over a video if you wanted some reason for something to show on the screen while you were reading a book or something. You can do that.
Canva also has, they let you make little, basically animated clips now. And so for my storytime videos, I have a little, very short animated intro screen that I made in Canva. So it's super awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I love using Canva, but I've never used it for anything moving or any kinds of animation. So that's a great idea.
Just looking for the, oh, there it is, cloud audio recorder that I've been using. It's super simple. You just click start and you record for however long you want to record it, and then you stop. And I want to export it as an MP3 real time, and you can save it to your computer or Google Drive or whatever. And so they all save to my download folder, and then I just move them into whatever folder I want to keep them in.
Is your cursor an avocado or is that just?
Yes. Yes, it is. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes, Chris Dorman showed me this. It's this extension for Chrome called, what are you called? Custom cursor, where you can have all kinds of different cursors. These are just the ones I've downloaded. There are like a bazillion, and that's super fun. Anything else that's come up or things you're wondering about? Do you feel like you can make a video using this now?
I think it's going to take some practice.
It will, yeah. And honestly, now that you've seen it, I recommend not letting it go too long before you jump in again, because I did forget and sort of had to reteach myself when I went like a couple months in between. So
That's-
even if you just just play around with it once a week or something to keep your mind fresh on what it looks like and where everything is.
Will you be sending out the recording of this?
I will be, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Great to learn a new tool.
Yes, and I'll check out the open shot that we spoke about earlier and see how similar or different it is, and maybe we'll do a training on that at some point if we want to.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you did this because I have been using something that I think is like way more convoluted than I need. And so there was a big learning curve to do the very minimal stuff that I was able to figure out. And so this is a lot more straightforward, I think. So thank you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
I think OpenShot is very similar to Shotcut,
Okay.
except that it lets you layer your tracks kind of vertically instead of horizontally. I mean, small
Oh.
differences, but
Okay.
similar.
I have a question about performance rights or
Mhm.
being in, how long is there a list out there of perhaps copyright free or not, or free? I'm not using the right phrase because I haven't had enough caffeine this morning, but anyway, books that are free to read and post without worrying about timelines, or and how long can a person post a video of a book before they should take it down? I've seen some persons do performances of like 24 hours. They'll leave up a video and then take it down. And then the other types of patterns, and other people maybe leave them up for long term. So I'm wondering if there's a place where I can go to look for links for some of the criteria involved.
Yeah. So there are a few children's books that are out of copyright now, so you can do you can keep them up forever. They're not super great ones, but but right now, and I expect it to be continually extended for a while, the publishers have allowed us to, use their books, and usually you just have to say, read thanks to Penguin Random House or whatever, but they all have different instructions on where or how long you can keep them up. I'm just going to look for the link right now to pop in the chat. And as long as you take it down before the end of whatever they say, that's fine. I think most of them are at like 6 months right now. Let's see. Any other questions while I'm looking this up?
Well, I'm glad I looked at this because Shotcut was really intimidating to me the first time I looked at it. So I had basically just been using Video Editor on Windows, which could do like the very, very basic of like, I could put my video up here and clip things out and add a title card, but I was starting to reach my limit of like, well, I want to do a little bit more, and I don't think Video Editor can do that. So, oh, well, I think maybe this can do it, and it doesn't seem as scary now.
Yay, good. I'm not finding the link. I know it's saved in my Google Drive somewhere. Was Brenda who asked that?
Yes,
Is that right? Okay. I'm gonna find it afterward and send it to you.
thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and oh, go ahead.
Could you send it to everybody?
Sure.
Thanks. Or to me too.
Yeah, that's great.
If you ever have things that you'd like to do and you can't figure out the best way to do them, feel free to get in touch with me. I may know, or, I can probably spend more time than you can looking it up if I don't know. So, don't hesitate to use me for that. All right. Any last things?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming today.
Thank you for doing this.
And you're
Thank
welcome.
you. This has been very helpful.
Good. Well, good luck to all your videoing in the future.
Thank you.
All right, have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Day, everybody.